Hi everyone, Anshita this side. Welcome back to AB Automation Hub. In today's video, we are going to learn about another important data type in Python, which is dictionary. So today we will learn about how to create dictionary, how to access dictionary, what are the different dictionary methods in Python, and we are going to learn about the nested dictionary. So let's get started. So first of all, let's understand what is dictionary. Dictionary is a collection of changeable data. That means it stores your data in the key value pair. For example, in a contact book, in case you want to look up a person's name, so what you do? You check the person's name to get their phone number, right? So person's name is the key and phone number is the value. So similarly, over here also we have key value pair. So let's write over here. So this is the basic definition of dictionary. Now let's see one example for this. So here we are going to create dictionary in the key value pair, right? For example, we have name. So name is AB Automation Hub, right? And let's write location over here. So this is how you create a dictionary in Python. We have this is your key and this is your value. We use dictionary because they are super useful when you want to label your data and access the values from here. It is super easy to use it. Instead of relying on the index number, you just have to mention the key over here. So this is one way of creating dictionary where you use the curly braces. We can write over here, it is created using the curly braces. Now we have one more way of creating the dictionary, which is using the dict. So here you can create a dictionary using dict, and inside that, inside the round brackets, you can pass the key and the value. And in both the cases, its type would be dictionary. So now let's print the type, example print type. In the first case, we are passing user, and similarly for the second case also passing employee. Now let's run this case, and here you see both the types are dictionary. Using these two ways, you can create dictionary in Python. So another concept is dictionary is mutable. Just like list, it is also mutable. Mutable means it can be changed, which means you can add, update, or remove key value pair anytime. Now let's understand it with some example, right? This is your user dictionary, and in this case, you want to add something over here. So how you can add it? You can do like this user, and then you can pass like this. In this way, you can actually add a key in the dictionary. So now let's say you want to print it. Let's print this one. So print users, and if we run this one, you see a new key is added over here. For example, you want to update any value. So same value, let's update this value. For updating, what we will do, we will use over here the same key name. So for example, key name is skills, okay, and I'm updating it to some other value. So this is the case for updation. And if we pass the same key name and we pass different value, it will be overwritten. And if we print this one, you see now it is overwritten. So there is also one more important concept in dictionary. Key must be unique. Why? Because it cannot have duplicate keys. So if you see over here, when we have mentioned user skills Java, it is updating the existing key value, right? It is not creating a fresh key. In dictionary, your key must be unique. And now let's see the case for deletion. In case you want to delete any key. So for example, we will delete skills. So what you have to do, you have to use delete, and then you have to write your dictionary and the key. I'm deleting the skills key. And if we print it, and now if I print this one, you would see your skills key is deleted. So this way you can add, remove, or update in dictionary. Now let's see the other concept. In dictionaries, your key can be integer, it can be string, it can be boolean, and it can also be tuple. This is about the key. In fact, you can also have a floating number. But in case of value, the value can be anything. Value can be your integer, string, float, boolean, tuple, and it can also be list and other dictionary. Why we can't have list and dictionary as a key? Because they are mutable. And in dictionary, your key must be unique and immutable. That means you can use types like string, boolean, integer, tuple, but not list or other dictionary. So this is also one of the important concepts when we are learning dictionary in Python. Now let's understand it with an example. So we are creating a dictionary and let's name it as my dictionary. And inside this one, let's pass different keys. For example, we are passing string over here and the value is 10. Now let's pass the key as integer and we can say this is a key. Like I said, you can also pass some floating value, for example, one, and let's write over here floating key. So we can also pass Boolean value over here, and we can also pass another tuple. For example, this is our tuple. And now if we print this dictionary, we will see all these keys with the different values. So let's print this one. Here we can see all the key value pairs in the output. And if we try to add a key as a list, and let's print this one. So here it will throw an error. If you see in the output, you see it is throwing error unhashable type list. So here the key cannot be list, but your value can be list. For example, this one. So this is supported in Python. Now if we run it, you see this is supported, but we cannot have list as a key over here. So your key must always be unique. In case you have a key with a duplicate value, the last one will override the first one. For example, we have a dictionary and inside that we have two keys. So first one is A is 1 and we are passing one more key and passing it as 2. And now if I print sample, so in this case, what will happen? In this case, your value of A would be updated to 2. Why? Because like I mentioned, key must be unique here. And in case you're passing one more key, the value would be overwritten by the latest value. So if we run it, we see it is just showing single key, which is A, and the value is 2. Here we can write your key must be unique. And in case you have a dictionary with a duplicate key, it will overwrite the value with the latest value. So you cannot have duplicate keys in the dictionary. And in case you do, the last key will overwrite the earlier one, which is this one. Now moving on to the next concept, which is how to access values in dictionary. In dictionary, you can access the value using the key name in the bracket. So let's see over here one example. Like in the previous sessions, we have learned about in the list and tuple, you can access it using index. But here, in case you want to access the value, you have to use the key name over here. For example, let's access list here. So what we will do, write your dictionary name and inside this you can pass your key name. So our key name is list. And if we print this one, it will return you this value, which is list value 1, 2, 3, and 1. And let's run it. So here you see 1, 2, 3, and 1. So it is returning the list. The similar way, in case you want to return the floating value. So what we will do, we'll just use my dictionary and inside that I'm going to use 3.14. So this way it will return me the value of 3.14, which is floating key. Okay, so 3.14 is the key over here. Make sure you pass the key value correctly. So now if I print this one and let's run it, and here you can see this is floating key. If it is in double quotes, you need to pass in the double quotes. If it is not in double quotes, you have to pass like that. If we print this one and let's run this, so now you can see this is floating key. But what if I pass inside the double quotes? In this case, it will throw a key error. For example, if we run it, you see this is key error. So always make sure it is in the same format. You have to use the same key over here. So this is one of the way to access the values in dictionary. There is one more way to access, which is using the get method. So with this one, we can move to the next topic, which is different methods in dictionary. So first, let's understand the first method, which is dot get method. The dot get method returns the value of that specified key. So let's write here. For example, we want to fetch 5 here. So we will write my dictionary and then dot get. We are going to use method dot get, and inside this we will pass the key name. So what is the key name? For example, we want to fetch the value for this one, for 5. So we are going to pass 5 here. And if we print this one, in this case, it should return us the value, which is integer key. Now let's run it. Here we are getting the integer key. So this is how you can get the value of a specified key in the Python using get method. Now let's also see about some other commonly used dictionary method. So other one is the dot key. So dot key returns a list containing the dictionary keys. So let's write over here. So in this case, if we say my dictionary dot keys, and if we print this one, in this case, it will return all the keys in the specified dictionary. So we have how many keys? We have ID, 5, 3.14, Boolean, tuple, and a list. So if we run this one, here it will print the list of all the keys in that dictionary. We can see ID, we can see 5. So these are all your keys. So in case you want to get the keys, you have to use dot keys method. Moving on to the next method, which is values. Values return list of all the values in the dictionary. Like key returns the list of all the dictionary keys, value returns the list of all the values in the dictionary. So let's write over here. So now if we are saying my dictionary dot values, and in case we print this one and let's run it, so what will happen? It will return all these values. So if you see 10 integer key, floating key, boolean, tuple, and the last value. So in case you want to fetch all the values, you can use values. Now moving on to the next one, which is pop. So pop is used in case you want to remove the element with a specified. For example, you want to remove true. So in this case, what will happen? In this case, you need to write my dictionary dot pop, and inside that you need to pass the key. For example, our key is true. And if we print this one and if you run it, so what will happen? It will return what is removed. So now we can also print the dictionary, and if we print, here you will see there is no boolean key and value, right? Because we used pop, and pop removes that element with a specified key. Now let's see one more dictionary method, which is clear. Clear basically remove all the elements from the dictionary. In case you want to empty your dictionary, you can use clear method here. For example, I'm using my dictionary dot clear, and now I'm printing my dictionary. So what will happen? Using clear, it will remove all the elements from the dictionary. So let's run this one. You see, it is a empty dictionary, right? So if we use clear method, it will return us with empty dictionary. Printing my dictionary. So what will happen? Using clear, it will remove all the elements from the dictionary. So let's run this one. You see, it is a null dictionary. So all the elements are removed from the dictionary. So these are some of the commonly used methods in dictionary. Now moving on to the next topic, which is nested dictionary. So nested dictionary means having one dictionary inside the another. For example, we have company, and inside this we have multiple dictionary. There is one department for QA in which you have a QA employee. For example, name over here. Let's pass some name and let's pass the role. And inside this, I have one more dictionary. So this is again key value, right? This is your key and this is your value. So we can see over here, this is again, we are passing another key. For example, we have one more key, which is dev. And inside this, I am creating one more dictionary inside which I am passing the name. Here you can see we can have one dictionary which is inside the another dictionary. So this is my one dictionary, and inside this we are having one more dictionary. How you can access it? In order to access it, what you have to do? For example, I want to access the role of QA. In this case, what we will do? We will pass here QA. So first level is QA, and then you have to pass again the second level, which is role. If you print this one, it will return you lead here. Why? Because we are fetching QA and then we are fetching the role of that QA. So if you print this one, the role is lead. For example, if there is one more key and like this, which is an integer type, and in this case, you want to fetch this key 20. So now we are going to pass 20 over here, and let's run it. So here you can see age is printed. So always make sure your key should be same here, right? Otherwise it will throw error. Another important concept, which is also an interview question. For example, we have a sample dictionary here, and if I want to print a key which is not there in your sample, for example, if I'm trying to print B, in this case, it will return us the key error. In case you're trying to access which is not there, it will return you the key error. So if we run it, here we can see it will return key error. And in this case, if I'm trying to print anything or perform any action after this one, for example, if I'm printing Python here, a simple text message here, and if I'm running this one, it will not be executed. Why? Because after the error, it will stop. You see, it is not moving to the next step. In case instead of this way, we are using dot get method. So if I use dot get, and if we comment this one, in this case, what will happen? In this case, it will not stop your execution. If we run this one, you see now it is not stopping your execution. It is printing none. So in case the key does not exist, in case of using get method, it will return none. So just a quick recap, what we learned today. We learned about dictionary, which use key value pair, which is mutable. And in the dictionary, your key must be unique. So you cannot have list or dictionary as a key in dictionary. But your values, it can be of any type. The values can be of list type, the values can be of even dictionary type as well. Other thing is dictionary is mutable. Mutable means it can be changed once it is created. So we saw how we can add, remove, or update a dictionary. And in dictionary, you can also have the nested dictionaries. So that's all for today's video. And if you found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching AB Automation Hub.